Hello everybody, welcome back, and this is going to be about XRP, alright? And I'm not selling hopium, I'm showing you something which hopefully you'll be able to understand. And I'm not saying that this is a place to go long from, nor is it a place to go short from. I'm basically going to try and explain to you in the simplest way about how it can still achieve its all-time high and then some, alright? I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but just stick with it, alright? So on my Patreon channel, which I suggest you join, I do have a lot of tutorials going on there. The most recent one about the Ichimoku cloud and what it represents and what it means, okay? So as far as charting this out on an Ichi cloud, alright, and this is just the first little picture, you've got to stay with me, alright, on this one. We don't have a strong sell signal on this. Despite this whole thing going on, we don't have a sell signal here, we don't have a sell signal there. We probably will get one, but not a short signal. So what this represents now at this point, provided we're above this price action, alright, above this cloud, is that we have every chance to recover. And in my mind, that's exactly what I would expect from it, a recovery over time in an accumulation period that brings us towards a new all-time high at the end of this year and then some, alright? Despite everything that's going on, our lows are most likely in. This is a weekly chart. We have clearly fallen from the sky, but we are not in any situation to short this asset at all. It's not looking good, I'll give you that in the short term, but let me show you something now. So we don't have much price action on exchanges, but we do on CoinGecko get to see how it's behaved in the past. So let's have a look at this part before the last parabolic top. Okay, so this is a long period of price action, starting from 2013 all the way into 2017 before the all-time high rallied, right? This is this first parabolic top that it had end of 2013. Spent 3 years in a downtrend, just like what's happened after 2017, right? 3 years in a downtrend. Then what happens after that? After that 3-year downtrend, we basically have what I consider and what I like to call the fake out, right? So we'll go up to, I suppose, here, and we will see what I would call the fake out, right? This is the fake out. So big moves, something changes, the consolidation clearly ends, and we have the fake out. So all the way up to the top, down to this bottom here, is basically close to a 70% retracement, all right? Now that sounds relatively similar to what's been going on here, although this has happened sooner than I expected. Now, I said to people on this channel that we have a buy signal, although it not be perfect. We have a buy signal that's relatively perfect, although it's not perfect. And that buy signal turned out to be a massive, massive move. You know, we'll measure that one out. And most of us caught this one because, well, not because of the channel, but because of the indicator that we use, the indicator that I've just posted an in-depth tutorial about how to use it on my Patreon channel. So that was the confirmation. Do we have the sell from that yet? No, we don't. We don't have the sell here. We don't have the sell here. So in order for me to have decided to have sold this asset on a weekly basis, and remember, I'm talking weekly. There's not many weeks in a year, okay? This is still, until proven otherwise, playing out in the form of a buy. So as surprising as that sounds, all right? I'm not saying we should have held on to it all the way up and all the way down. In fact, most of us, and I know I didn't, I got out around 54, around about here. So I missed the top, but I also missed this, which is nice to know. I knew that this was going to come down to the 200 exponential, which is its normal behavior after a parabolic move. We did it here, zoop, all the way down, reaccumulated here, zoop, all the way up here, and I said we're going to come down and we will reaccumulate around the 200 exponential. I would have expected us to reaccumulate above the 200 exponential, but currently we're below it. So it means that the downside is still the stronger force. However, you know, to buy in at these levels is what's known as an accumulation period, and with a coin that's as volatile as this one, there's no perfect buy, nor is there no perfect sell in this accumulation period. It could be as low as this, it could be as low as that, but it's a very wide range to accumulate within. But we don't have anything to say to us that this is going to make a lower low than this, as shocking as that sounds, alright? So I wanted to bring to your attention the fact that, first of all, despite the entire dump that we've had here, the odds are still in our favour to carry on with the market cycle, which will then end towards the end of this year, which is when it's destined to end, with a new all-time all-time high and probably then some. My initial targets, I would suppose, conservative estimation, be just over $4. Maybe it could be up to $6. It could go completely parabolic if there was some kind of amazing good news in it, and make its way up to 10 and maybe 20, which is, I know it sounds completely ridiculous, but what I'm trying to say to you all now is that this isn't as bad as it looks. It's actually okay as far as the indicator is concerned, and as far as the way that this coin behaves. This was before the big move. This isn't the big move, by the way. This is a 40-cent move, complete retracement down in towards the 30s again. We don't look at this. I don't look at this and think of it as a failed cycle. I see it as unfortunate that things have gone against it, that aren't part of the chart, black swan events that cannot be charted. But when still looking at this chart and looking at it in a historical fashion, parabolic top, consolidation, accumulation, pump, reaccumulation, and what comes after a reaccumulation? A pump. Now, this is probably going to take longer to reaccumulate than this. In fact, I would expect this reaccumulation could take all the way up till May this year. And I know that sounds completely bonkers and bananas as well, but it could reaccumulate amongst this zone here, which is a large area, reaccumulate amongst those zones, and then after May it will have that power to move. But for the moment, I'm not short on this one, I'm not long on this one, I am also relatively long-term bullish on this one. And it's based on historical price action, market rotation basically, and a market cycle. So like I say, it's not hopium, although you might interpret it as hopium that I'm pushing here. It's not. It's basically exactly the same way that I would have viewed this chart a year ago, and if I'd have been, so if the future me came back in time and showed me how this coin behaved, to this date now, and showed me this chart, I would say to the future me, I'd say that seems about right. Actually, that does seem about right. A bit aggressive, but it does seem about right. Not entirely surprised to see something like that take place. And in actual fact, it goes with my theory that we have stair steps down, reaccumulation, and stair steps up. And we will be taking another leg up at some point soon this year, most likely after May. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there, but join my Patreon channel. I've also got a free Telegram chat you can join. I'm not as prevalent on there as I am on the Patreon, but the Patreon you get tutorials, you get access to live streams where you can ask me all these kind of questions. But otherwise, I hope you have a nice weekend and take it easy.